Have you ever felt like you're wearing a mask, even when you're supposed to be at your most confident? You're killing it at work. Your friends look up to you. Maybe you even have women attracted to you. But deep down, there's this aching silence, a part of you that feels unseen, unheard, like no one actually knows the battles you fight inside your own mind. As a man, especially a powerful one, you're expected to always know, always lead, never break, and that's the problem. Because the truth is, even the strongest men carry wounds they don't talk about, not because they're weak, but because the world rarely listens to a man's pain without judgment. So what do powerful men do? They learn to keep certain secrets not out of deception, but out of survival. These secrets shape their relationships, their careers, their nights alone in silence, and their deepest fears of never truly being understood. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 secrets every powerful man keeps from women. Not because he wants to, but because most people just wouldn't understand what's buried beneath the surface of strength. If you're a man who's ever felt like you're emotionally lost, struggling in dating, or craving a deeper connection, stay with me. This message is yours. Every man has a place in his soul where he longs to be held not physically, but emotionally. That place often gets buried early in life. From the moment a boy is told, "Stop crying, be a man," he begins to learn that emotions are liabilities. That to be taken seriously, to be respected, he must bury softness and silence his inner world. So he grows up. He becomes successful, ambitious, stoic, and with every new achievement, the world praises his strength but never asks about his scars. Here's the secret. Powerful men, yes, even the confident, charismatic, alpha ones, ache for emotional safety. They crave a space where they can express fear without being seen as fragile, where they can admit, "I'm tired." Without being told they're weak, where they can ask for help without it becoming ammunition used against them later. But most of them won't say this out loud. Why? Because the few times they have opened up, they were either misunderstood, minimized, or abandoned. Maybe she said, "Just man up," or "I don't know how to deal with this." Maybe he saw her love change the moment he exposed the part of himself that was still healing. So he learns to keep it in. He laughs, he plans, he leads, but behind closed doors, his emotional needs go unmet. Not because he doesn't have them, but because he doesn't feel safe expressing them. Emotional safety is not a luxury. It's a necessity, and yet it's one of the most unavailable things to the modern man. Most women don't realize this. If you can offer a man emotional safety, you unlock a version of him the world never sees. A version that's tender, loyal, and deeply connected. But he won't ask for it. He's waiting to feel it in your tone, in your patience, in your response when he's not his best. That's when he knows, "I can be fully me here." And that is the most powerful gift you could ever give a man who has everything, but feels emotionally alone. Because when a man feels emotionally safe, he finally lets his guard down not to collapse, but to finally breathe. When you see a man walk into a room and own it with his chest out, his head high, and that commanding voice, it's easy to believe that what you're witnessing is pure, unshakable confidence. But what if I told you that in many cases it's not? You see, most powerful men don't just wake up confident. What you're often witnessing isn't confidence, it's a shield. A carefully crafted persona built to protect something much more vulnerable underneath, his self-worth. From an early age, men are conditioned to attach their value to what they do, not who they are. He learns that achievements earn love, that dominance wins respect, that the more stoic he is, the more he's seen as a leader, and so he builds. He builds a life that says, "I'm in control." He builds a body that says, "Don't mess with me." He builds a voice that commands, even when inside, he's silently asking, "Am I enough?" Here's the truth most women never get to see. That swagger you admire may be masking self-doubt. That ambition you praise might be driven by fear. Fear of insignificance, fear of being invisible when the applause dies down. And yet he keeps performing because the world rewards the image, not the inner man. Even in relationships, this shield confidence can become a wall. He doesn't show you his insecurities, not because he's arrogant, but because he's terrified that the moment he stops performing, you'll stop loving. So what does he do? He overcompensates. He dominates conversations. He plans everything. He keeps control. Because letting go, even just a little, feels like risking everything. What he needs isn't admiration. He gets plenty of that. What he needs is acceptance, not for the image he presents, but for the man underneath who's still learning to believe he is worthy of love, even when he's not performing. If you want to truly know a powerful man, don't just admire the confidence he shows the world. Get close enough to understand the fears he hides behind it. Because sometimes the loudest voice in the room is coming from the quietest heart. And when a man feels seen there, beyond the armor, you give him something no one else can. Have you ever seen a man who seems to have it all friends around him, success under his belt, maybe even a relationship? And yet, when the laughter fades and the room clears, he sits in silence, feeling more alone than ever. This is the kind of loneliness most people don't talk about. It's not the absence of people. It's the absence of connection. Powerful men, especially those society celebrates, are often the most emotionally isolated. They're expected to show up for everyone. For their teams, for their partners, for their families, they are the rock. The problem solver, the leader. But here's the part you don't see. Most men don't have anyone they can truly open up to without fear of being seen differently. When he walks into a room, he may be greeted with admiration, praise, even envy. But very rarely is he asked, "How are you really?" And when he does try to share, the responses are often surface level. "You're fine, you've got it good." Or worse, "You're lucky, I wish I had your life." So he learns to keep it all in. He becomes a master at performing, laughing on cue high, vibing at the bar, playing the role perfectly while inside, he's wondering if anyone sees the version of him that isn't always on. The pain isn't that he's physically alone. It's that no one truly gets him. He could be lying next to someone every night and still feel emotionally distant. And not because he doesn't care, but because the deeper parts of him, the fears, the doubts, the dreams he's scared to say out loud remain locked away. Not because he wants it that way, but because past experiences taught him that when he shows his true self, people often back away. Or worse, they misunderstand him. If you want to connect with a powerful man, go beyond the surface. Look beyond the social media smiles, the success stories, the well-put-together exterior. Ask him something real. Listen when the room gets quiet. Sit with him when he has nothing to say. Because in that space beyond the crowd, beyond the applause, is where he's silently waiting, hoping someone will finally see him. Most men won't say this out loud, but they know it deep in their bones. There's a difference between being loved and being useful. Powerful men, especially those who have achieved status, wealth, or recognition, are often admired for what they do, not for who they are. And after a while, that admiration starts to feel hollow. He begins to wonder, if I lost it all, my income, my body, my ambition, would you still choose me? It's a haunting question. One that gnaws at him when he's quiet, when the lights are off, when the applause fades. Because in a world that constantly measures a man's value by his ability to provide, he begins to feel like love is conditional. He notices how affection rises when he's winning, when the money's flowing, when he's solving problems. But the moment he's tired, uncertain, or just human, the energy shifts. Suddenly, he's less impressive, less desirable, and it cuts deep. Because more than anything, men want to be loved for their essence, not their output. For their thoughts, their values, their weird sense of humor, the way they see the world, not just for their ability to pay bills or protect or perform. But here's the tragedy. Many men don't believe that kind of love exists for them, so they perform. They overgive, they provide, hoping that if they just do enough, maybe, just maybe someone will see the man behind the provider. He wants to hear, "You matter to me even when you're not doing anything, even when you're still, even when you're struggling." That kind of love is rare. And when he finds it, he clings to it like air. Ladies, if you want to touch a powerful man's soul, don't just praise what he does. Learn who he is. See the man beneath the suit, the title, the hustle. And if you can love that man, not just the image, you will unlock a version of him the world will never see. Softer, safer, fiercely loyal version that only shows up when he knows he's finally enough as he is. Most people think men are afraid of commitment, that they run from deep love, that they avoid emotional intimacy because they're just not wired for it. But that's not always the truth. Many powerful men aren't afraid of love. They're afraid of losing themselves in it. Here's what I mean. From a young age, men are taught to build strength, build vision, build control. Every part of his identity is crafted around the idea that he needs to be someone in this world before he can truly be valued. So he creates structure in his life. He becomes decisive, driven, focused, but love, real, intimate love is messy. It asks him to let go, to be soft, to be vulnerable, fluid, sometimes even irrational. And that's terrifying for a man who's spent his entire life learning to contain himself, to lead, to never lose grip on who he is. Love, especially with someone he deeply cares about, threatens that control. Not because she's doing anything wrong, but because the depth of emotion she stirs in him is powerful. And with that power comes a risk. What if I give myself to this and forget who I am? He's seen it happen before. He's seen men lose their vision, their focus, their sense of purpose, all in the name of love. Men who became shells of themselves trying to please a partner who didn't respect their core. Men who gave so much emotionally, they woke up one day not recognizing their own reflection. So now he hesitates. He pulls back not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much, because he's trying to protect the self he's spent years building. The self he fears might get swallowed up in a relationship that demands everything from him. If you're with a man like this, don't rush his walls. Don't force your way in. Invite him, gently, patiently. Show him that love doesn't have to mean losing. That the right relationship won't strip him of his power. It will amplify it. That in loving you, he doesn't have to disappear. He can become more of himself. Because the moment he feels safe enough to stay rooted and open his heart, that's when you meet the full man, powerful, present, and profoundly in love. A man can survive unimaginable pressure. He can carry the burdens of his family, lead teams at work, protect those he loves, and still smile through it all. But here's the question no one's asking. Where does he go to heal? The truth is, most men were never given the tools or the permission to process pain. From a young age, they're told to suck it up, get over it, move on. So they do. They bury their wounds under silence. They wear strength like armor, and they keep pushing forward because stopping to feel would mean unraveling everything they've spent years trying to hold together. But pain doesn't disappear just because it's ignored. It mutates. It shows up as anger, as emotional detachment, as overworking, as avoidance in relationships, and sometimes as addictions no one ever sees because they're hidden behind success. When a powerful man breaks down, the world doesn't know what to do with him. Therapy, he's judged, opening up to friends. They give surface-level advice, talking to his partner, sometimes even that feels risky. What if she loses respect for him? What if she sees him differently, so he internalizes it? He tries to fix it on his own, silently, behind closed doors. And on the outside he might look fine, but inside he's tired, not just physically, but spiritually. He's craving healing but doesn't know where to begin. Because healing isn't just about talking. It's about being allowed to fall apart without fear of rejection. That's what men are missing: safe spaces, non-judge, mental presence, relationships where they don't have to be on. They need more than solutions. They need witnesses. Someone to simply sit with their pain and say, "You don't have to carry this alone." If you're a man listening to this, hear me clearly. Your pain is valid. Your emotions matter, and you deserve healing without having to earn it. And to everyone who loves a man, remember, he may not ask for help, but that doesn't mean he doesn't need it. Sometimes the strongest man you know is the one quietly breaking inside. Be the one who sees him, not to fix him, but to remind him healing is not weakness, it's freedom.